So download the app, and this is what it would look like if you open the app and you were associated with a bunch of different teams. If you haven't had a team set up yet, basically you'd have a blank screen. You'd click in here. You go to create team. We're going to find flag football. Let's say it's select travel. We're going to go 14U. You guys are Winter Garden, is that correct? Is that out of Horizon, Florida? Is that?
No, it's right. It's Winter Garden. It's just Horizon's the area.
Yeah, Winter Garden's fine. Got it. Sorry, I had to let somebody in. I had to stop sharing my screen for a second. So anyway, I'll just give you a brief overview of essentially what the app can do until I could share my screen again. So kind of three things we kind of focus on. We do team management, which I'll dive into in terms of setting up your roster, your scheduling, whether it be games or practices. Off of those events that you schedule, you're able to live stream any sort of event that you set up in the app. So whether it be a practice, whether it be a game, you could also get kind of creative with what it is that you wanna, what it is exactly that you want to live stream. So like I had a group that was live streaming. They were going out to an event out in Arizona from the East Coast. They were live streaming getting onto the plane. They were live streaming team meetings and stuff like that for the parents that didn't travel out to the event. So you could kind of get creative with what exactly you want to live stream. And I'll try to walk through this again. Flag football, select 14U. We're going to go out of Winter Garden, Florida. Let's just call it BNA. We'll go next. You hit spring 2023, and now basically your team is set up. You can now go into like a web version to set up your roster. You can start setting up the roster straight away in the app. And if you've had a team in the past, like let's say you had a team in the fall, and predominantly the roster is the same from the fall into the spring, you can just roll that roster over into the spring season. And if there's like one or two new kids, you could add them in. If there's one or two old kids that aren't playing in the spring, you can just remove them. So essentially, now my BNA 14U team is set up. If I go to the spindle in the top right-hand corner, that's kind of like a settings tab. Let's say I wanted to remove the 14U, or let's say I didn't like the fact that the N, they weren't capitalized, and let's say it's BNA Giants. So I'm going to hit save. I have a few other things in here, like when you set up an event, like a practice or a game, right now it's preset that like if somebody does an RSVP, a notification will go out 2 days prior to the event reminding them to RSVP, but you can change that so they never get a reminder. You can have it 3 days or 1 day before the event. Now I hit save and my team name has been updated. A few other things to note in here, there's broadcast and scoring permissions. So that's related to live streaming and live scoring. If a coach or a staff member wanted to limit it to only those people that were on the staff, they can. If not, it's preset to confirm members. A confirm member is basically your staff or family and players on the team. So if there's a family member associated to a player, they're part of your confirmed member community, and it's preset to allow them to do it. Again, if you don't want it that way, you can limit it to only staff. And then that's the same thing with your scoring permissions. And the other major thing to note here is if you're living on a different calendar on your day-to-day, whether it be like Outlook, a Google Calendar, iCalendar, you could sync the app, so the schedule that's in the app, into your day-to-day calendar by just clicking this button and then finding your calendar and syncing it. So that's like your basic settings. Building out your team, there's a few different ways to do it. One way is just let's say you go in here, you add, let's say, Randy Moss, you hit save, and now Randy has been added to my roster. If I click on Randy, I could go in there, add a photo, add his jersey number. He can also do it from his side once he's downloaded the app. But then I can click contacts, and now I can add an email address to associate with Randy. So basically, once I add the email address, he's going to get an invite to BNA Giants, and all he has to do is download the app. If he uses the email address that the email was sent to, he's going to be pulled straight into the team. So once he downloads the app and uses that email address and sets up his account, when he goes into his account on his homepage, there's going to be BNA Giants. He clicks on it, and then he can see all the information for the team. And then once I've added one contact, that contact can add all the additional ones. So if you add a parent, they could go in and add all the additional family contacts, whether it be, let's say you add mom and they want to add dad or grandparents or brother and sister that are driving them to practice. You could, they can do that on their end. So that's one way to build out your roster. Another way would be in the top right-hand corner, there's a share button. If you copy that, it will generate a link that you could text or email out. And basically, if somebody downloads the app and then clicks on that link, it's going to pull them into the team. Now, the catch there is if your team isn't built out, everybody's just going to kind of be brought in as fans because there's nobody to associate with if you don't at least put in your roster. So if you just add like the 10 kids that are on your roster for that season, just their names, now when somebody clicks on that link after they downloaded the app, and the trick is they have to download the app first, because if you click on the link without downloading the app, then it's just going to bring you into the app store saying, hey, download this app. It's not going to pull you into the team. But if you have the app downloaded, you click on the link and you had 10 names here, when that person clicks on the link, it's going to say, okay, who are you? Are you a player on the team? If you hit yes, it's going to give you the 10 players that are listed on the roster. And there's just a box where you can check next to the name of the player that you are. Or it will say, are you a family contact of a player? You hit yes. And then again, it's going to give you the roster and they can click on the player they should be associated with. And then from your side as a coach, you're going to get a message saying that Susie Smith is saying she's Randy Moss's mom. Is that correct? Yes or no? And you get to decide if you want to pull that person into your team and if that information is accurate. And then, so that's building out your general roster. There's also a fans tab here. Fans don't live in the day-to-day functions of the app. Like they're not seeing the practice schedule. They're not in your chat or anything like that. They're just basically there to follow your team if a game goes live, whether it's a live stream or a live score. You can invite fans and fans can request to be part of your following. So again, same thing. Somebody will request it and you can accept or deny it. So that's your basic roster build out. Does anybody have any questions regarding like building out your roster? And again, there's a web version of this as well, so you can do it on the web if you want.
So quick question. Once you build out your team and you click on that link to share the download link, once you build out the team and you share that link, then they'll be automatically once they download the app into that team, like they'll have access to it as a player?
Yes. So there's two ways. If I go in and add the email address for the player, then they're done. All they have to do is download the app and use the email address. Like they'll get an email invite once you add their email address in. And then once they download the app, your BNA Giants icon is going to show up there and then they're in. Like they don't have to do anything else unless they want to add some additional family contacts. If you don't add the email address, but you simply just add the names of the players here, then all the players are going to be listed there, and that's where you could share the link. And then they download the app, they click on the link, it's going to pull them into the team and ask them to associate themselves with somebody that you've listed in this roster. Does that make sense, or did I answer your question?
Yeah, so if I wanted to send it as a text, for example, the link, I just click on the little share button at the top and go to copy.
Yep. Okay,
I can send
you
it.
can
I
do
can send it in
that,
a group chat.
or exactly, or it even gives you the, like up here, you could airdrop.
Okay.
It's giving you the text option, the email option. You have a bunch of
All right,
different
bet.
options in there, but if you just hit copy, it's going to generate that link, and then you could paste it into a text if you wanted.
But they just need to download the app first.
Yeah, if if they don't download the app first, it's not going to pull them in. It's just going to bring them to the app store to download the app. So if they
All right,
download
gotcha.
the app and set up their account first, now they're an actual person, so they can be associated with the team.
Gotcha. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions on the roster build out? All right, cool. So I'm going to jump into scheduling now. Let's say we want to set up a practice. Where do you guys practice out of?
Stay in Winter Garden.
Is there a specific field or park or anything like that?
It's in the Waterley community.
Water
WATR
League, you said?
L LE WATERLEIGH. All one word.
E L
LEI.
E G H.
Yeah.
Is that right here? And what is there a specific day or time?
Every team's different, so
All right, let's just say we have practice Wednesday, 7 p.m. It's going to be 1 hour. I want the players there 10 minutes early. And this practice is going to repeat every Wednesday from now. Let's say the season wraps up June 30th. Now, if I go back and hit save, I have two options. I could save and message a team or save and don't message a team. If I choose save and message, it gives me a pre-populated message, but I could delete this and write my own. I could add on to it. I'm just going to leave it alone for now and send it out. So now I've repeated the event. So all of my Wednesday practices are scheduled now. I don't have to go back and do each one individually. So if you practice, let's say Wednesday and Friday, you can do it twice and be set for the whole season because it will just populate as long as you repeat. And then if I go into the team chat, the the next practice gets thrown up in there. So like tomorrow's practice is there. Everybody's getting a notification on their phone that a practice was added. And now if they click on that, they get all the information for the event straight away. So they have, what time it starts, what time they're supposed to be there, the option to RSVP, if they're going or not. So I hit I'm going. So now as a coach, I could click in, see who's replied, who hasn't replied, who's going, who's not going. I have a map. So if I click on it, I can get directions using whatever provider that I want to use. And that's basically it. Scheduling an event. It's pretty straightforward. As a coach, let's say there's a storm rolling through and you want to cancel tomorrow's practice only. I could click cancel. And again, I get an option. Do I want to message a team or not? I could go in there. Hey, practice is canceled. There's a big storm rolling through. Hit send. And now, again, in the chat, you can see that event's been updated. They get a notification. Whatever message I put in there is there straight away. So it's a quick way to get access to your entire team. You could also email if you wanted. And then in the team chat, there's the ability to add photos, files. You could take a picture with your phone as you're using it and send it out, videos, all sorts of stuff. So that's like scheduling practice. I'm going to show you scheduling a game. Same sort of deal. Let's say you're the home team. Um, let's say the opponent, let's do the Jets. Hit save. Um, Location. So once you've added a location, that location is going to be there already. So you click on it and you're done. So you don't have to constantly go back and find the same location. Let's say that event's going to be happening like right now. I'm not going to message the team this time, but it pops up now. So again, as I mentioned, games you could live stream and live score. The live scoring of an event is going to support the live stream in a couple ways. So if somebody's live scoring an event, um, let's say there's a touchdown, 2-point conversion, touchdown, 2-point conversion. Let's say I made a mistake. It was just an extra point. I can hit undone and fix it. But this, as I'm scoring this event, if I were live streaming, and I'll show you this in a second, it's generating a scoreboard over your live stream. So like if anybody's ever tried to live stream through Facebook Live or YouTube Live, there's no scoreboard. So people are constantly in the chat asking what the score is, what's going on. So if you're scoring an event, it's going to create a scoreboard for your live stream. And what we also have right now is clipping for touchdowns. So any touchdown that's scored in this game, if I were live streaming it, is going to be clipped, and you're going to have a touchdown clip generated for you that you can go in and look at after the game. Now we are essentially in the beginning stages of building out the app for football. We've been around 11 plus years in baseball and softball. If anybody's ever used our app in baseball and softball, it's like very, very built out. Like there's hit clips, there's field clips, running clips. Like there's all sorts of clips. We have pocket radar, we have like flow charts, all sorts of crazy stuff. And we're basically like on the path to build that out for football. But like we're just starting out. So essentially, like in the near future, we're planning to have additional stats here. So let's say completions, interceptions, et cetera, et cetera. And basically, the way our platform works is as you're live scoring an event, if that event is being live streamed, that's what's generating your clips for you. So if somebody stats an interception, the that's going to clip your live stream as it's happening. So if you don't live stream and you just score, it's obviously not going to generate clips. And if you just live stream and you don't score, it's not going to generate clips for you either. So they kind of work hand in hand. So I'm going to do another touchdown, 2-point conversion for the Giants. I hit exit. If I hit game over, that will finalize the score. I'm just going to hit resume later just because I'm going to jump into this live stream really quick. So if I hit go live, there's a few options. One, you can live stream through an external camera. We're integrated with this like super lightweight camera called the Mevo. You can get up to 1080p on it. You could also live stream through like a GoPro, but you could also live stream through like a high level production camera if you wanted. It's really up to you. But what we found is that in the flag community, like they really like on field footage. And I'll show you some of it in a second. So like all the flags of events that we've done a bunch of USA flag events. We did the Pro Bowl event for NFL flag that was out in Vegas. We live streamed close to like 160 games out there and live scored them as well. And all of that was filmed with a gimbal and somebody's cell phone. And essentially, like we got some really, really good footage. And that's some of the equipment that we're going to be providing to your league is these gimbals, so you guys can live stream on your own. So if I hit this device and now I hit broadcast video, what you'll see is the scoreboard will generate at the very top. And basically this is live right now. So anyone that was associated with my team in the app is going to get a notification that the event went live, and they could watch it on their phone or tablet. But you could also share your team page and people could watch this up on the web if they wanted, mirror it up to their TV. It's really up to you. And there's like a share stream button here in the right hand corner. Similar, you could copy, send the link out. People will get a notification, or if you share the link, it will redirect them to your team page. And basically, that's how you live stream. So you have live scoring, you have live streaming, and you have the team management platform where you could schedule, you can message, email teams, and stuff like that. So I'm just going to show you from your perspective, like if you are live streaming. This is from the Pro Bowl event that I had mentioned. As a coach, you get full access to this platform completely for free. You're never going to hit any sort of a paywall or anything like that. If you live stream a game, um, essentially anything that you live stream, let me just go back so you can see. So I just live streamed really quick on this demo. I immediately, once I end the live stream, it creates a video archive for you. So as a coach, like if you live stream a game and you want to jump back in, let's say there's a specific play that you wanted to clip for your players, or you wanted to go review something or anything like that, you could go in and you could access the live stream straight away. So this was the Pro Bowl event that we did. I click on, let's say, one of the first games that we did. This is straight again with a gimbal and someone's cell phone. At the Pro Bowl event, they didn't want to let us stream from behind the quarterback. USA flag lets us get on the field, like in the end zone or behind the quarterback, and you can get pretty cool footage from right behind. But NFL, they were like worried about insurance purposes and stuff like that. But again, this is straight with a gimbal and a phone. If I click the screen in the bottom right hand corner, there's a record screen button. So if I wanted to clip something specific, like I said, let's say there was a really nice touchdown, I wanted to just clip it and send it out to my players, I can. Or if there was a defensive breakdown that I wanted to clip and send out to my players, I could do that as well. You could see the scoreboard at the top. You could skip through as it goes on and stuff like that. I'll just show you a couple different fields here so you can just kind of check out the different footage. But essentially, what you also have the ability to do as a player or parent, Kimball went wild there. As a player or parent, as you're watching the live stream, you could also clip as it's live. So if let's say there's a really nice touchdown and it's live, you could generate a clip and throw it up onto social media, tag people, tag the league, whatever it may be. But you have access to clip things as they are happening live. And again, all of this is archived for you immediately once you end the live stream. So this entire platform, as I mentioned, completely free. The only thing that we charge for is right now on the football side is if a player, parent, grandparent want to go back and watch the archive of this game, or they want to access those automatic touchdown clips, that's where they would hit a paywall. Subscription, I think, is like $12.99 a month or like $69.99 for the year. But they're not required. If they just want to use the team management platform, the scheduling, the messaging, and just want to watch the live streams, totally, completely free. It's only if they want to access those archives. But again, for you guys, everything is completely free. You'll never hit a paywall. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen to take some questions. If somebody needs me to jump back in, I can. Yeah, we wanted to just open it up to see if anybody had any questions.
What sort of payload can the gimbal hold?
What sort of what can it
Like
hold?
what's the weight that the gimbal can hold? Like if you had like a DSLR camera or whatever, could that hold it, or is it just specifically made for cell phone?
So the gimbals basically got the clamps for like a cell phone, like it like opens up as if
Okay.
it could hold a cell phone. But if you wanted to use a camera, You can, as long if the camera has live streaming capabilities, um, and it basically, and if it if it's asking, or if it has the ability to import an RTMP and a stream key, um, then we can support it. You could redirect the stream. So like this lightweight camera that I was talking about, the Mevo, this gets up to 1080p quality as long as you have decent internet service. So that's like the biggest kind of issue. If you're in a spot where your cell phone isn't getting good service, then the live streaming is going to be a little bit choppy. But as long as you're in an area where you can get decent internet service, you can hotspot a camera with your cell phone, or you can use like a portable Wi-Fi or whatever. And you could literally live stream as much as you want. The archives, they don't store on your phone or anything. They're in a cloud, so they don't take up any space on your phone. Um, and like I said, they're available to you basically forever. Um, so and again, all of that's completely free. So the idea is like, we want to help support your teams, like help you guys get onboarded, and also provide the tech so you guys could get up and start live streaming your games. Uh, from our experience in terms of live streaming, if you're live streaming from the sideline, it's like 3 or 4 yards ahead of the play, and you could get a good angle on the play. Um, and basically, any cell phone like that's probably been made in the last 3 or 4 years, you can get really good video footage straight away from your camera. Any other questions I can answer?
That might
Anything
be
on
the
like
that might be the
what?
only hiccup is the internet quality, because the where the fields are right now, I don't know about everybody else, but I know like my signal service is next to nothing up there. But that's the only issue I could foresee happening with live streaming.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is like, I think that the tech already was sent out to DK. So, if you guys want to test it out for practice, like you could have a parent test it out over practice, or you can see what that's like. You could see what the footage is like, see what the internet quality is like. The gimbal is pretty straightforward, as long as it's charged. The gimbal basically just helps stabilize your phone and helps you kind of just continue moving on an angle. It kind of shifts and stuff, and it as you turn, it kind of turns with you without like making it really choppy. Um, so like it's pretty straightforward to use. We were gonna have a meeting with DK to kind of just go over for him how to use it, just so he could kind of pass that information along. But essentially, as long as it's charged, it's pretty straightforward. Um, so yeah, any other questions?
Is there a way to have multiple people recording at the same time?
So you can only live stream one event at a time. But let's say there was two teams playing. Let's say Giants and Jets are playing. The Jets can live stream for their community, and the Giants can live stream for their community. So you can have two live streams of the same game going on at once. But they're just going to get redirected to each specific team. But that's a good question. So, like with the streaming permissions, if you have it opened up to confirm members, once somebody starts live streaming an event, it's not like somebody could come in and jump in and like hijack that live stream, and it's going to disrupt what's going on. Once somebody is live streaming, they're kind of owning that live stream. And then until they end that live stream, um, no one else could come in and kind of like knock that stream out and kind of take over and then have another stream going at the same time. And you're not going to like, somebody can't click into an event that's live streaming already, and then there's going to be an additional live stream happening of that same event at the same time. It's really one. It's same thing with the scoring. It's just going to be one at a time.
Okay, thank you.
So and the idea behind like the added stats that that are going to be coming along the way. It's also going to build out stats for your players as well. So at the end of the season or after each specific game, you can go back and look at, each player's stats and how they were involved in the game, on the offensive and defensive side as well, besides those clips that will be generated for those players. And the idea behind the clips down the road, as we build out the stats and we build out the additional clipping, a player would go into his profile after the game and have all the plays that were clipped for him associated to his profile or her profile immediately after the game. And that would also live under that paywall of a subscription. So it would be the archive of the game and also all of their automatic clips as well, and all their stats and stuff like that.
Would we ask like a parent to volunteer and do the stats, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, it's totally up to you. I don't know like what coaching staffs are for you guys in the league, if it's just like one coach or a couple coaches, but I think if you could designate a live streamer and a live scorer, that's going to make it pretty easy. Or if you have, maybe a rotation of six different parents that are willing to volunteer, that might be the best case. Like, because one person can live stream, which isn't like it's not very difficult. Like, you're kind of on the sideline, you're kind of just watching the game with something in your hand, right? It's not really like, you're sitting there and having to pan like, like crazy or anything like that. You're just basically walking up and down the sideline following the play. um you don't necessarily need to be looking at your phone. If you have the gimbal in front of you and you're kind of just following along, you should get a decent enough live stream. And then scoring is pretty straightforward. Like, there's not that many touchdowns happening in a 30-minute game, so somebody can just have their phone out and simply just have the app open, and as something happens, they can just go ahead and just click whatever that specific play is. So that's what I would suggest, is maybe just reaching out. You can do it in your team chat and just say, hey, we need somebody to live stream and live score today. I think the idea is DK might like charge up the gimbals and bring them out for you guys as the day starts, and they'll be passed along type of a thing. So it would simply just be, slipping in your phone, hitting go live, if you're live streaming, and then same thing with the live scoring. Open up the app and you just clicking the button every once in a while.
Does the phone have to connect via Bluetooth to the gimbal, or how does that work?
With the gimbal, no. You all you have to do is charge the gimbal, power it on, put your phone in there, and then you're done. And then you just hit go live on your cell phone in the app, and you're good. And it's just the gimbal is just on. It's just based on your hand movements essentially. So as you turn, like, it's picking up on that. But no need to connect via Bluetooth or anything like that.
And most gimbals, you got to balance the phone on it. This is the same. I presume you just have to balance it to make sure it's straight on.
Yeah, essentially you're just slipping it in. It's like, if you're slipping in your phone into like one of like a phone clip, if you're putting it in your car or something like that, you're just opening it up, slipping it in there, and basically once it's in there correctly, like if it's off, the gimbal is going to read it and kind of be wobbling until you get it correctly.
Gotcha.
Cool. Any other questions or? Cool. Well, I sent the email out through my work email, so you guys should have my work email. If anything pops up that you thought of after the fact, feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to send out a recording of this so everybody has it as well. And yeah, we're looking forward to supporting your league and working with you guys. So if anything pops up along the way, or as you're doing something and it's not working correctly, or you have some feedback that you want to share, feel free to reach out to me, or you can reach out to DK and he can get to me as well.
Quick question before we drop.
Yep.
If we're going to create our teams, is there a specific email address we're supposed to be using to sign up as the coach? Like, how does that work?
No, so you just use whatever email address you want to use to set up your team. I think the idea was that we were going to set up teams for you based on the email address. Like DK shared your email addresses, so I could send it out for this specific meeting. But the idea was that I think in the next day we would set up your team that you're associated with the email address that was used for this meeting. So we would actually set the teams up for you to kind of get you guys rolling. And then you can add staff same way as you add a player. You just hit add staff. You type in the email address of, like an assistant coach, and they're going to get an invite, and they would get pulled straight into the team the same way a coach would.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, if there's no more questions, appreciate your time. Like I said, if you guys have any questions that pop up, feel free to reach out to me or let DK know. And looking forward to working with all you guys.
Appreciate your help.
Have a good night.
You too. Cheers.
Thanks.
Thank you.